All right, guys, we were just talking about how disastrous Twitter is and how much it's fallen off a cliff. Well, I have a great example of it right here for you. So look at this. This is from Matt Binder. Pretty cool how you can run ads on here now that will just get users into legal trouble. So it says, see how it says ad up here in the corner? This is the type of stuff that's running on Elon's Twitter. This guy says, tired of paying taxes, tired of the police pulling you over on the side of the road, tired of being pushed around and not knowing what you can do about it? My absolutely free course covers all the above and much more. By the end, you will be filing your own lawsuits. So it says, free course to never pay taxes again. Okay. As you can see, what does the community note say? This ad is pushing a sovereign citizen theory that has been thoroughly discredited in the courts. Anyone following this advice can wind up in serious legal trouble. So guys, this is a far-right movement. I think actually Wesley Snipes was inspired by this, which is why he didn't pay taxes, but then he ended up going to prison. Go figure. That's how that works. But they have these convoluted legal theories about how actually it's totally constitutional for you not to pay taxes, and don't let them tell you otherwise. Okay, well when you get charged and then you go to prison, you're not going to feel the same way. Now, are you? So, but understand something. Sovereign citizens, not only is it this anti-government extremist movement that have all these bullshit legal theories, there was a time about a decade or two ago where it was like there were more sovereign citizens terrorist attacks in this country than any other group. Like, I need you to stop and sit on that for a second. Like, the rise of anti-government extremism, the rise of far-right extremism, it was originally tied to this sovereign citizens mindset. And now you have ads where sovereign citizens are arguing like, hey, you don't have to pay taxes anymore. You don't have to listen to the cops anymore. Which, by the way, there's different strains of thought within the sovereign citizens movement. But my understanding was one of the original positions was they recognized the sheriff as the highest authority. And that basically like federal government doesn't exist or shouldn't exist, and they have no authority over you. So here, I'll read a little bit more on this for you. The sovereign citizen movement is a loose group of anti-government activists, vexatious litigants, tax protesters, financial scammers, and conspiracy theorists found mainly in English-speaking common law countries, the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom. Sovereign citizens have their own pseudo-legal belief system based on misinterpretations of common law and claim not to be subject to any government statutes unless they consent to them. The movement appeared in the U.S. in the early 1970s and has since expanded to other countries. The similar Freemen of the Land movement emerged during the 2000s in Canada before spreading to other Commonwealth countries such as Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. The FBI has called sovereign citizens anti-government extremists who believe that even though they physically reside in this country, they are separate or sovereign from the United States. The sovereign citizen phenomenon is one of many contemporary sources of pseudo-law. Sovereign citizens believe that courts have no jurisdiction over people and that certain procedures, such as writing specific phrases on bills they do not want to pay, and loopholes can make one immune to government laws and regulations. They also regard most forms of taxation as illegitimate and reject social security numbers, driver's licenses, and vehicle registration. The movement may appeal to some people facing financial or legal difficulties or wishing to resist perceived government oppression. As a result, it has grown significantly during times of economic or social crisis. Most schemes sovereign citizens promote aim to avoid paying taxes, ignore laws, eliminate debts, or extract money from the government. Sovereign citizen arguments have no basis in law and have never been successful in any court. American sovereign citizens claim that the United States federal government is illegitimate. Sovereign citizens outside the U.S. hold similar beliefs about their country's governments. The movement can be traced to American far-right groups such as Posse Comitatus and the constitutionalist wing of the militia movement. The sovereign citizen movement was originally associated with white supremacism and anti-Semitism, but now attracts people of various ethnicities, including a significant number of African Americans. The latter sometimes belong to self-declared Moorish sects. The majority of sovereign citizens are not violent, but the methods the movement advocates are illegal. Sovereign citizens notably adhere to the fraudulent schemes promoted by the Redemption A4V movement. Many sovereign citizens have been found guilty of offenses such as tax evasion, hostile possession, forgery, threatening public officials, bank fraud, and traffic violations. Two of the most important crackdowns by U.S. authorities on sovereign citizen organizations were the 1996 case of the Montana Freemen and the 2018 sentencing of self-proclaimed Judge Bruce Duchette and his associates. Anyway, but yeah, there was a time when there were more domestic terrorist attacks from sovereign citizens than anybody else. In fact, they go on to say, because some have engaged in armed confrontation with law enforcement, the FBI classifies sovereign citizen extremists as domestic terrorists. Terry Nichols, one of the perpetrators of the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, subscribed to a variation of sovereign citizen ideology. In surveys conducted in 2014 and 2015, representatives of U.S. law enforcement ranked the risk of terrorism from the sovereign citizen movement higher than the risk from any other group, including Islamic extremists, militias, racist skinheads, neo-Nazis, and radical environmentalists. That's crazy, bro. In 2015, the Australian New South Wales police force identified sovereign citizens as a potential terrorist threat. So yeah, there you go. And now on Elon's Twitter, there's an ad where they're just casually pushing sovereign citizens ideology. That's great. But it gets worse, y'all. Ready? Look at this. The name of this account is Nixon Groyper. Groyper is, Nick Fuentes' neo-Nazis. And it says in the top corner, ad. So there's an ad. This is paid for. Nixon Groyper says, imagine being born a Gentile in this generation, on this continent located an ocean away from Europe, and viscerally hating this one foreign dictator from 80 years ago for no reason other than my teacher showed me Schindler's List, or the museum tour guide told us he turned Jews into soap. And still believing that at the age of 30 or 40, laugh my ass off. It's hard to start reevaluating your perspective. It's time to start reevaluating your perspective of history. And it's a picture of Adolf Hitler hanging out with kids, smiling, taking some picture. So, ladies and gentlemen, on Elon's Twitter, there are now ads for Adolf Hitler. Like, the whole point of this ad is like, bro, he's misunderstood. Isn't Hitler great? Like, what the fuck? We've graduated from just garden variety pro-Hitler threads, which again, I see all the time, to here's an ad for Adolf Hitler. Like, what do you think? What are people sitting around like, man, I'd love to buy some Hitler? Like, what are you trying to get out of this? We know what they're trying to get out of it. They want to expand the Nazi movement in the U.S. That's what they want. They probably want people to become fans of Nick Fuentes or whatever the fuck. Like, I'm telling you, ideologies that were in the closet not that long ago are now just like, bitch, we're here. We're here, and we're just as loathsome as you think we are, but we're going to keep our foot down on the gas pedal, because now we see the opening, now we see Trump's dictator, now we see Elon Musk, the world's richest robber baron, is looting our treasury, destroying our government, and we see an opening. And they want that racial hierarchy in place. This is Elon's Twitter. This is what it is. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable, man. Remember back when he bought Twitter and he was like, bro, let me explain something to you. In order for Twitter to be successful, you got to like piss off the far right and the far left equally. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you know you're doing a good job. If you piss off the far right and the far left equally, we got to be politically neutral. Now he's fucking looting the treasury on behalf of President Donald Trump. He gave over $250 million to get Trump elected. He's the biggest Republican hack in the country. He all the time is flirting with outright white supremacist Nazi talking points on a regular basis. He signal boosts all these outright Nazis and these fucking pro-apartheid boers, right? What do you mean politically neutral? My ass cheeks. Your site is a fucking, it is the swamp. It's a hellscape. It's like Nazi Central, bro. Nazi Central, but apparently sovereign citizen Central too. So thank you for the multiple different varieties of terrorists that we can pick from on your lovely site. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.